Bruh, what's good, Doc?
Yeah, what's up, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm solid, man. Check this, dog. I just found it. Remember, I was telling you the other day about that file I've been looking for the thing I did in 2014.
Uh-huh.
So I just found it. I was digging. I had to dig through a whole crate full of like hard drives, but
We can do a top tier reveal then.
yeah, bro, like it's crazy. It's
We need
super
that.
crazy.
We need that.
It's
Yep.
super crazy. But what's even crazier? I'm about to send you. First of all, I'm about to send you a screenshot. I just texted to you.
Oh man. Oh man.
Right, right,
I didn't even know you at this time.
bruh. But look, I'm about to mess with you. I'm about to mess with you. I'm finna send you the date that I actually created this. This is what is wild to me. Check. I'm sending you another screenshot. Check the date. I want you to see what the date says on there.
Wow.
Here it is.
Oh, that's 10 years ago. Oh,
Bro, what's today?
whoa.
Right.
That's wild.
That's
You gotta
wild.
add to the script. You gotta add it to the script.
Bruh. Bruh. Like,
You don't need to add nothing else to the plug-in after today because you want to be able to say 10 years to the date I completed what I started 10 years ago.
10 years to the date. This is wild, bro. Like I was like this it's like poetic, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
it's like poetic cuz it's like dang, like 10 years literally to the date that we got this done, bro. Like I got no words. It just blew my mind when I was like when I saw it. I was just like found the file, digging through, and then I was like the date when I said let me see when I created this, and it's like November 22nd. But you know I got to tell the story though for real now.
Definitely, you got to.
We got to tell the story. I think that's the thing. We just got to tell everybody where it came from.
This is gonna be a documentary edit.
Oh, bro.
Give me something to work with now.
Oh, you know it's gonna be. Okay, so I have a story I want to tell you guys because today is a special day. Today marks the day that a vision that I've had for over 12 years is finally becoming a reality. In 2012, I created my very first online product. It was like a drum sample pack, and I called it the Click Track Pack. And back then, you know, we were all creating, you know, click tracks and doing that stuff for church. And I had a bunch of drum samples that I was using. And I thought to myself, I'll make a pack. So I made the pack, uploaded it online, did all those things. And what was crazy is that people from everywhere started buying it. And I'm talking about people, not just people that was in my city or in my country. I'm talking people in London, England, Africa, just everywhere. And the support that came from this pack is the literal thing that pushed me into the world of online business. That was the moment that changed everything for me. Because before then, I was just a piano teacher. Around that time, I started thinking about what I wanted to do next. And I started digging into sound design and making contact instruments. And I created this contact instrument called the Click Track Generator. And it was a simple way where you can press a few keys on the keyboard and build this really fat loop from combining other loops. And it was really cool, but I didn't have the confidence to release it. You know, I doubted myself. I didn't think anybody would really care. I didn't think it was a good product. So I just moved on. And I created the next business that I started, which was called Gospel Multitracks, and did that for years. And then I created a business called Creating Stems in 2017. And we were doing like master classes and things like that. In that period, I created an Ableton session called Click Track Elements. And it was the same concept, combining multiple loops and putting it all together in elements and building this thing. But I still didn't do anything with it. So I moved on, created gospelproducers.com, kept expanding out, doing masterclasses with John Yash, Aaron Lewis, all types of producers like that. But then in 2020, the world changed. You know, we were all stuck at home and Logic had released a new sampler. And I thought to myself, what if I revisit the idea of the click track generator? But of course, click tracks just sounded way too cheesy, you know? But then I thought about click track elements and I said, well, maybe we can flip it and I'll call it loop elements. And this time it clicked. I mean, literally clicked. The concept of layered and filtered and stacked elements became a hit, and so many people from everywhere, it just exploded. So I did volume 2 and volume 3 and Loop Elements Deluxe and West Coast Elements, partnered up with Jan Hunter, did all kind of crazy stuff with Loop Elements. But in the midst of that, I also started making plugins. So we did Pro Drums, Kill Your Sounds, Juice. But the thing that I've always consistently been tweaking and trying to make into a plugin is Loop Elements. No matter what I tried, I could not get it to fit into the same framework that I've had for years since I generated the first click track generator. But then recently, I had a breakthrough thought, a revolutionary idea, and a completely new approach and workflow to Loop Elements. A workflow that will change how you create loops and produce drums forever. And now, after 12 years of conceptualizing and 4 years of development, I am finally ready to share with you this new workflow. Today, I want to introduce to you Loop Elements Pro. GospelProducers.com. So this is Loop Elements Pro, and I am super excited to show it to you guys today. This represents a very innovative new way of using loops. And guess what? It's standalone, not only as a plugin, but it's also standalone outside of the DAW, which means you can now use loop elements in your live performance. And I brought all of my 20 plus years of musician experience into this plugin, and I'm excited to show it to you guys today. And I know this is going to be really, really dope for the live musicians, just as well as it is for the producers. So I want to talk to my live musicians first and people that want to use loop elements live. So I'm going to show you guys standalone mode inside Loop Elements. All right, guys, Loop Elements Pro. I am ecstatic to show this to you guys today. We're talking 4 years of development that went into this plugin and almost a decade of my life put into the thought of building here. And I'm ecstatic to be at the end of the road on this to show you guys what we have came up with. So let's dig in to Loop Elements Pro. So this is Loop Elements Pro running in standalone mode, which means it works completely outside of the DAW. You don't need Pro Tools, you don't need Ableton, you don't need Logic. It is its own app. Although it does run as a plugin in any of these DAWs, you can use it pretty easily, simply the same functions, the same features, just as a plugin. But I want to take some time right now and highlight standalone mode, which I think is absolutely amazing and one of the key things that's going to be dope about this that you guys are going to love. All right. So this is the interface. As you can see, everything is laid out really, really intuitively. You got your mixer area, you got your transport, your hit time signature, you've got metronome, you've got your presets, you've got BPM, you've got effects, and we're going to slow down and we're going to go through all of these one by one and show you guys how all of these things work. So let's just take a listen to Loop Elements first and just, click on a random preset. So different loops like that, really, really dope loops. But let's get into some of the fat stuff. I just want to just show you guys some loops. So let me show you guys something cool right here. So you see up here where the BPM is, because you can adjust this BPM to be any BPM you want for it to be. Faster or slow as you need for it to be, right? Double click brings you back to the default 120, right? But I want to highlight something here called preset BPM, right? When you click on that, this is kind of what it says. It is the BPM that is suggested by the preset. So every preset has like a BPM on it. So if I go here, you'll see like 116 4 on the floor. And as you can see, my global BPM changed to 116 as soon as I clicked on it. You know what I mean? So if I go down here, 94, and it's a seamless switch without you having to do anything. But if you don't like that BPM, you want it faster, you can speed it up. Or slow it down. You know what I'm saying? But it just works for any loop that you click on. Need a nice bump, you know, for my church boys. So you got all of that locked in, just all kind of really dope stuff. So let's kind of experiment with some things. I want to show you guys something really, really cool. So first of all, we have key commands built into Loop Elements Pro, right? Which means anytime you hit anything, like you hit the space bar, that plays, that stops, right? So that's what the little icon down at the bottom is, a little thing. That's a space bar when you hit the space bar, right? But we also have other key commands, like if you use the number keys, like 1, that mutes channel 1. 2, mutes channel 2. 3, mutes channel 3, so on and so forth, all the way up to 8. And you can use them all at the same time. Like I can literally press all of these at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like key mapping inside of like Ableton or so. You know what I mean? So if you're using this as a performance tool and y'all are, you know, grooving with that, and then you're at the part of the song where you need a breakdown or whatever, you can literally just and keep doing your thing. And that's the verse. Then you're ready to bring it back in, hit 1 and 2 again. See what I'm saying? How simple and how dope is that? Really, really cool. Now, as well as like being able to mute, you can also use the QWERTY keys to solo. So any of you see these popping up, it looks really weird, right? But Q, channel 1, W, channel 2, E, so on and so forth. Right? But there's other dope things you can do. Like if you want to turn on the metronome, you can hit M. Or if you want to mute everything, hit 9. Then bring it back in. Really, really dope. Or if you want to fade out the loop, hit F. Fades it out. Want to fade it back in, hit F again. Really, really cool. And then there's other ones, like one thing that I think is a feature, but it's also a really, really dope use case, is this little stereo mono situation, right? So if I hit 0 or click this, it takes the loop from being stereo to being mono. While this is really, really important, is if you're using this as a live performance tool, or even in the DAW or what have you, sometimes you need stuff to be in mono, right? So you can pan it and do whatever you really want to do with it. But if you're using this as a live performance tool, it's really, really cool to have this option, because, you know, not everybody runs their loops in stereo, or you may be doing a gig, or you may be doing a church service or whatever, and you only got one line for the track, right? I've been in that situation a million times. So having this in stereo, you're losing stuff when you on the loop when you go in stereo. So if you're in a mono situation, being able to press 0 and sum it down to mono is really useful, I think, in my opinion. So it's really cool. You can also bring up the effects by hitting G. That brings up the global effects, like your saturation, EQ, limiter. You can bring up the sends, your reverb and delay by pressing S. You can bring up the mod effects by pressing D. And we got some new effects here, and I'll talk about these in a little bit to variate. Really cool stuff. So P brings up preferences. But I got something really cool for you, because who can remember all of these key commands, right? Like, how do you remember what's what? Just simply press K and you get all the list of all of your key commands and what does what inside of loop elements, right? So some other notable things you can do with key commands is you can actually switch loops when you're in the preset browser by using your up or down arrows. You can go up and down, you know what I'm saying? And hit enter to load one. See what I'm saying? Really cool stuff. Using key commands, we thought long and hard about that in functionality and how you could bring this into a live situation or even in the DAW. I'm going to show you guys some dope later on where when you're using it inside of the DAW, how you can actually use the number keys to like automate stuff, because everything inside loop elements is fully automatable inside of the DAW. So you can literally perform your loops when you're producing, or produce your loops, as my dude Dave Outing says all the time, right? So in addition to having all of the key commands on loop elements, you also have MIDI assignable. So you can literally right click on any of these parameters and learn MIDI CC to your MIDI controller. Now, one important thing to know about when you learn MIDI inside of Loop Elements Pro, that if you learn a control, it does not stay that way. You have to save that into your presets. So what I like to do is create my presets, my set list, so to speak, and then save my MIDI mapping for that presets or for those presets, and then kind of lock in. And I'll dig a little bit more into that a little deeper later when we talk about that, when we're using MIDI assignability. All right. So that is pretty much the overview of the interface with Loop Elements and how you kind of get around it. So of course, down here, you have like your mixer section where you can literally control the volume on everything. You know what I'm saying? I can bring the kick down. You know what I'm saying? So you got all of that, right? But not only can I do that, I can also switch out any of these loops, right? I can easily go here, say, or add a loop. Like this is empty. Let's just add something. I'll just add in something else in here. And then I can add something else right here. Maybe I want to add like a shaker. You know what I'm saying? So you can literally do whatever, and there are like hundreds of loops and elements, tambourines, and all kind of stuff. The elements is really where everything is, and you can just try and experiment and make it into whatever you want. But as well as having elements and all of those things to choose for, you have channel effects. So if you look down here, you see these little, we call them hamburger icons. You've seen them before, right next to the numbers. If you click on that, it brings up the channel effects for any of these channels, right? So you can easily affect that. So let's solo this channel. I can add verb, delay. I can compress it. Even though it's filtered, I can filter it some more. and then change my emphasis. I mean, just whatever you want to do. Pitch it. Now I got a whole different element, right? So it not only allows you to just, change loops, but you can also edit them and make them yours. You know what I mean? Now, one cool thing about these channel effects is this little window is actually movable. So if you mouse right above it and click, you can move it anywhere in the interface you want. This is helpful for when you're working with like multiple channels. Maybe I want to work on this channel. I can move this around, move that around, do what I need to do with it. It's really, really cool. I enjoy that aspect of loop elements and just little things like that, little details that just make it really, really cool, right? So that is channel effects. And again, we'll dig into this and kind of experiment, and I'll show you guys how you can do all of that. But that's pretty much the interface and how you get around loop elements. So many different features, so many different ways that you can really make this yours. So now that we've kind of walked through everything, let's dig in and let's actually create a loop real quick. I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually create a loop with loop elements. Let's go down here to user and we're going to click on empty. And that just empties out all of the slots. When I press play, nothing plays, right? It's just completely empty. And let's get a BPM, maybe like I'm a 90s kid. 97 was a good year, right? And you can go here to the loop browser. Start with a tambourine. Shaker. Let's pan these. Now using channel effects, I can edit this clap and make it sound any way I want to sound. Kill some of the decay. Pitch it. Yeah, a little bird. Well, let's bring this up so we can. I'm just gonna pick a random, well, before we do that, let's pick a kick. Yep. Loving it already. Add a random element, just random. Oh yeah, that's like that where it is. Let's keep stacking our elements. This is the beauty of it. This is how you really drive it. Add in a little perk. And there we have it. That's a bop. I mean, and you can make this whatever you want. There are literally a bajillion combinations you can come up with to really make this yours. And then if you like that loop, you can save it. Like we'll just save it as, I'll put it in the user folder. We'll save it as, what's the BPM? 97, John's Groove. Just like that, just something simple like that. And now that's in there, John's Groove. And I can go here, create another one, or I can come back to it. And that's how you can literally just get in down and dirty. Let's talk about effects. So of course we have different effects in here that you can kind of use. You know what I'm saying? You can use saturation. Really fattens it up. You got, of course, your EQ. You know what I'm saying? Mids. Really, really cool. Compressor. Smash it. You know. Really, really cool. But you got the sends, which you kind of saw that a little bit earlier with your reverb and delay, right? Being able to really capitalize on that. But I want to talk about the mod effects. We got some really, really cool stuff. Some of the stuff we brought in from our other plugins and the new Variate module, which I really want to dig in, right? So you got auto pan. Really cool. And then the filter mod. You can change the speed. Frequency. Height. Or even through low pass. Or band pass. So that's really, really cool. Chorus. Phaser. Really, really cool stuff. Every plugin, I try to add in something new. Filter mod came in with Peculiar Sounds V2, you know what I mean? And then we had a couple of new modules that came in with Juice. With this one, I wanted to add in something creative that could be a creative tool, and that is variate, right? You know, variate for variation, 8 channels. You can variate all of these channels, right? You get the dad joke. I'm going to show you guys something really, really simple, how it can variate. So let's go to the shaker, right? No, the tambourine, right? Got that soloed. Go right back in here. And if I turn on variate, listen to what happens. Now listen to what that does to the loop. So I could do the same thing with the shaker. So pull up the shaker. Then you do it on both the shaker and the tambourine. And listen to what this does to the loop. I mean, I could turn it on anything. I could turn it on channel 7. That's so cool to me. And you can kind of mess with it. Really cool, right? But in addition to do that, you can also reverse anything. So how cool is that? And that's variate. Gives you like a lot of creative liberty to kind of mess around. And I'm really excited to see what you guys kind of come up with when you guys experiment with it. I think it's a really cool module. It looks cool. It gives that vibe. It gives that variation to everything you do, and allows you to kind of get beyond just the static loop as it is. You know, you can add some swing to it, some shuffle to it. It's just really, really cool. I've really enjoyed putting that together and kind of adding that in. So as you can see, if you're a live musician, Loop Elements is the perfect companion, especially if you're that guy that just uses loops live. You know what I mean? You're not running stems. You're not doing all of that stuff like that. If you only use loops live, Loop Elements now is the best way to run loops live in a live performance or church service, whether you're touring, gigging, whatever. I'm excited to see you guys use it out in the field. So I got another segment we're going to jump in real quick, and I'm going to show my producers how you can use this in your productions to elevate them to the next level. Let's dig into it. All right, guys, so I want to show you now how you can use Loop Elements Pro inside of your productions. We've showed you standalone mode, all of those great features that work for the live musician. But in this section, I really want to show you guys how you can use Loop Elements Pro in your productions, and let's dig into it. So I have this song that I produced last year by this artist by the name of Jasmine Encarnacion, amazing artist. I had the pleasure of producing her record, and this was this song on here called The Blood Song that was really, really amazing. It's out now. It's on all digital outlets. I'll drop the link down in the description, all of that stuff like that, so you guys can check it out. But when I was producing it, I actually programmed the percussion using Loop Elements Deluxe, which That's on the channel. You can go and watch that if you want. I'll leave that down there as well. But I thought it would be fun to kind of jump in and recreate what I did using Loop Elements Pro, because in my opinion, it's just a way more streamlined, way more efficient way to program your percussion. And I want to show you guys how I did it. All right. So here we have Loop Elements Pro. Let's check this out. This is the loop. I just recreated it using all of the elements that I use. I brought them back up inside Loop Elements Pro because everything that's in Loop was in Loop Elements Deluxe. All of that is all in Pro, all the same elements. But I have it here. And so let's just play it. So you got the big crowd claps, you got the shakers, you got the stomp kicks, all of those things like that. So of course you're not going to just run this loop static throughout the whole song, right? It's not feasible. So what we're going to do is utilize the power of automation and key commands inside of Loop Elements Pro, so you guys can see how you can efficiently use those things to program loops. All right. So I'm going to put my automation in latch mode, which means it's going to read everything that I do on the interface, whether I'm pressing a key command or I'm clicking on something, it's going to register all of those clicks and all of those key commands right. And just to remind you about the key commands, if you press K, there they are. You can see all of those there. They also are in the tooltips. You'll see them come up if you do that or whatever. All right, so I'm going to mute a few things just to kind of get started. I'm going to mute the boom kicks. I'm going to mute the crowd claps, and I'm going to mute the shakers so the loop sounds like this. Right? Great intro. And I'm also going to do a master mute before I even press play. Now, key thing to remember about Loop Elements Pro and utilizing the key commands and such, whenever you click into Loop Elements, it takes over the DAW, it overrides your DAW command. So the play and the stop and all of that gets linked to Loop Elements. And if you want to, utilize your DAW commands, you got to click out of Loop Elements. Same goes when you want to activate and use key commands inside of Loop Elements. So if I'm clicked in here and I press like K, nothing's going to happen, right? But if I come into Loop Elements and click, now I can press K and it gives me my key commands, right? So you got to be inside of the plugin to actually utilize the key commands. Just a key point, right? All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's go from the top. I'm going to click out and I'm going to start it.
Intro, chorus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stab the one.
And bring it in. Now I got my loops playing. Verse is coming up. I want to take out a few of these elements. So verse. I'm going to mute breakdown. 1, 2, and 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Now those are gone. And now we're here in the verse with just the breakdown, right? Really, really cool. Again, I'm kind of waiting. I got my hands hovering over 1, 2, and 6. And we're going to wait on it to come back to the chorus, and we're going to bring these back in. There we go.
Chorus, stab the one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 6, 2 brought everything back in because it unmuted those channels, right? Really, really cool.
Verse 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then we'll leave it playing for those things, right? There's a point where I want to drop the loop out, and there's like a run that comes up.
Chain.
Where I'm going to mute it right here.
1, 2,
master
3,
mute.
4, 5, 6.
Bring it back in. That's just me.
Breakdown. Verse 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then take
6.
it all out. Boom. Because this part in the song, if you go listen to the original, is like a hymn where they're doing the blood. It's Jasmine singing by herself. Really, really intimate moment. It's really, really dope. And there was no loops playing on this at all, right? But we're getting ready for the vamp. So I'm going to bring everything back in. right here. Let's bring in the shaker on 4. Now the shaker's in.
Repeat. Vamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And I just love like programming like this because it's just really, really fun. So we got 2 more elements to bring in, and that is our crowd claps and our boom kicks. That comes in on the big part of the vamp, and we're gonna bring those in. They're on channel 5 and on 8, right? So I'm already got my hands in prep for, in the position. And when that section comes up, I'm gonna go ahead and bring them in.
Chain. 1, 2, 3.
Not yet.
6.
It's on this next round. Here we go. This is where it gets really cool.
Chain.
Here we go. 1,
Stab
2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then it's getting ready to take it out, so we're gonna get ready to mute everything.
Chain. Take it out. Break. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's how the original went. And it's just that simple. So now that we have fully went through and automated everything, let's just kind of showcase, how that's working. So you can see everything
Intro.
is muted.
Chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stab the 1.
Loop start.
Verse. Breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Those are muted. Now we're in our verse. You see what I'm saying? And then if I jump in, now we're back to our regular loop. And then we get to the
Verse 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
the breakdown. Loop disappears. Loop disappears.
Drive.
Then it comes back
1,
in.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See what I'm saying? And then even our big part here.
Chain. Chain. Drive it. Stab the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a great way to program your loops in versus having to do all of the drag and drop and all of that. You can literally pull up loop elements, work through your track and perform it. As you can see, as long as the song is, that is as long as it took me to program my loops. And I think it's the most efficient and cool way to kind of create, and it allows you to be creative and it's fun and you can perform it, so to speak. Utilizing the key commands, automation, it's just a really cool way of kind of doing things. All right, so now that we have done all our programming and all of that, we want to actually maybe bounce this down to audio or whatever. Now, if you just leave it on the channel and you hit export your arrangement, it'll export just, the audio coming through the channel. But maybe you want to drop it down into an audio track or whatever. You want to add another instance of loop elements and keep building or whatever. This is really, really simple. So what you're going to do is you're going to drag the MIDI out just by going here to this little section right here. Just drag it in there and drop it in. And then you can take this and then you can loop it throughout the entire song. Okay. So the next thing you're going to want to do is turn off the host sync. That just, turns it off so it's not triggering the internal loops and the external MIDI at the same time. Just kind of, keeps you from doubling up on things. But once you've done that, all you got to do literally now is just like right click on your region, you know, depending on what DAW in, and bounce it to a new track. And there's your loop, and you got it bounce down to audio.
Verse 2, 2.
Just like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And everything's in there. So that's how you do it. And maybe you want to use another instance of loop elements to stack some more loops or do whatever you need to do. But that's just how you would simply bounce your MIDI down to audio and continue using it however, whatever capacity you want to use it in. But that's Loop Elements Pro. So Loop Elements Pro is the perfect companion for you if you're a live musician, a touring musician, a gigging musician, or if you're a producer or an engineer or all of the above. You can use this in both and all use cases to be able to take your loops and drums to an entirely new level. But if you need any more convincing whether or not Loop Elements Pro is for you, I brought in some of my good friends, a couple of really respected producers in the industry, people that I love and respect and trust. I gave them Loop Elements and I got a chance to film the process to show you what they think about it. So I want you to check this out real quick so you don't have to take my word for it. This is their honest, raw reactions, and I filmed it. Check it out.
This is crazy, bro.
You know, that's your anthem.
Mm-hmm. Is there any need for MPC anymore? If I click this fade, I like the fact that it's still going.
But with this, you'll be able to give versatile loops for everything gospel and things outside of gospel. You'll be, this will be sweet.
No stone left unturned.
I think it's great, man. It's like user-friendly, efficient. It sounds good, most importantly. Every software that you guys come out with, it just get better, man.
Check out the trap stuff. Like I tried to cover every genre.
This is so good. Oh, this is good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can just see the usefulness of this. Like,
Yep.
it's kind of crazy. It's genius. Like, this is catered to everybody, you know?
Because I tried to put something in there for everybody.
Like, I want to put this on my computer, like my laptop.
Music and Lauryn Hill.
Yep.
This will take the place of like your loops folder for like Logic and for like Ableton and like those other apps. And then you can just add on top of this and it's still your own beat.
The concept of this is to kind of like have it in church.
I already kind of got my way I'm going to use it. But I can't wait to see how other people like incorporate this with peculiar sound. This is so good. Oh, this is good. Oh my God. Like, I'm going to put this on my computer, like my laptop.
This is what happens when a musician is a plug-in for musicians, bro.
It's just too easy to navigate through and to do.
Yeah.
And it beats having to sit and make the loop. You can make it, but it's just.
I love that red cloud.
Yep.
It's all right. Might have to use this Sunday.
So that's going to be you. I'm really confident when you get Loop Elements Pro, you're going to feel the same way and you're going to be able to use this to create some amazing things and have some amazing experiences when you're using it live. Okay. So you're probably wondering at this moment, John Mike, what does it cost? What is the price on this? How much is this going to cost me? And I'm here to tell you today that we're doing a very special Black Friday holiday season offer for only $129. All right. And after this special introductory offer is going up to $199 because you want to get it now because this tool is revolutionary. So at launch, it is currently only available for Mac OS users, VST3 and AU for all you Logic users and people out there. But we have Windows under development and we have Pro Tools AAX coming soon. So make sure that you guys are following so you can know when we release those. Now, I know I got some people that's saying like, yo, John Mike, I've been rocking with you since the Click Track Pack, Doc. I have Loop Elements. I bought Loop Elements Deluxe, all those things like that. For those people, if you have bought Loop Elements Deluxe or any of our bundled versions of Loop Elements, you'll be able to get it now for a special cross-grade price of only $79.99. Yo, but I know there's some people that's gonna be like, yo, John Mike, I just bought Loop Elements Deluxe like last week, like 2 weeks ago, like a month ago. Like for those people, I have another special upgrade cross-grade price for you. You're going to be able to get it today for only $29.99. So make sure that you go and check out the website and see all of the cross-grade upgrade options or purchase options. So as you can see, this isn't just a plugin. It's the ultimate tool for creators and producers. Whether you're layering loops, creating click tracks, creating beats, building arrangements, soundscapes, Loop Elements Pro gives you the power to create without limits. This has been my journey, and now it's your turn. It's your turn to take this tool and create something extraordinary. So I want to thank you for being a part of this journey for me. I want to thank you for rocking with me all these years. And I really cannot wait to see what you guys create with Loop Elements Pro. 12 years, one vision, endless possibilities. Loop Elements Pro is now available. Go get it now.